Welcome to this explainer. Today we're tackling a topic that's basically front and center for almost every family right now. Practical Islamic parenting in our incredibly fast-paced, heavily connected modern world. We're going to explore exactly how to navigate the very real challenges of raising kids with strong values when, let's face it, screen time and digital influences are literally everywhere. Okay, let's dive into this. Here's a quick look at our agenda. We're covering the Digital Age Challenge, the Tarbiyah Vision, nurturing spiritual wellness, 10 fun home activities, and finally, building digital resilience. I promise you, we are going to move straight from deep educational philosophy into a tangible, practical toolkit that you can use right in your own living room. Section 1, the Digital Age Challenge. Let's just set the tone right off the bat here. There is a ton of anxiety around modern parenting. And hey, if you're feeling it, you are absolutely not alone. We are living in an era of unprecedented tech transformation, and navigating it, well, it's incredibly complex.
So, the massive question staring us down is, how do we actually protect Islamic identity today? The sources acknowledge that the pervasive, constant influence of secular materialism and digital media is a very real threat to traditional family values. You've got this relentless stream of global culture pouring directly into the hands and minds of our youth. That makes maintaining a culturally rooted foundation really tough.
The tension here is super obvious, right? Historically, the traditional home has been the ultimate institution for passing down religious knowledge and moral values. But today, that home base is constantly competing with global digital exposure. The sources actually describe this digital age as a total double-edged sword. Sure, it offers absolutely amazing access to knowledge, but it also accelerates cultural globalization and sneaks in unguided ideologies that really disrupt the home's traditional role.
That brings us to Section 2, the Tarbiyah Vision. If the digital dilemma is the core problem we're facing, the sources point to specific Islamic educational frameworks as our philosophical solution.
Let's clearly define Tarbiyah. As the source material points out, Tarbiyah isn't just about rote memorization or checking boxes. It's a dynamic, fully integrative educational experience. It focuses heavily on teaching children how to be Muslim, rather than just transferring facts about Islam. It's experiential learning that engages the whole child. We're talking spiritually, emotionally, and intellectually.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how this framework from educator Dawood Tawhidi in the Tarbiyah project structures the whole curriculum. He emphasizes that the goal of Islamic education is definitely not just filling a child's mind with information. Instead, it has to be directly linked to the real needs, concerns, and feelings of the students. It's all about character education and personality development that actually equips them to face modern moral issues head-on.
Moving right into Section 3, nurturing spiritual wellness. This is all about how parents can build an absolute internal spiritual stronghold within their kids to combat those crazy external influences we just talked about. Think about this incredibly powerful quote from Maulana Wahiduddin Khan. He says, "Pampering children is the worst gift parents can give. True love lies in preparing them to face the realities of the future." Wow. The sources heavily emphasize that parents have got to shift from what they call right consciousness, where a child just feels entitled, over to duty consciousness. This fosters a highly realistic, totally resilient approach to life. It's really about letting go of that urge to over-shelter and instead truly preparing them for the real world.
And that spiritual wellness starts with something incredibly foundational: basic akhlaq or Islamic manners. We're talking simple, everyday practices: saying salam, speaking politely, sharing, keeping promises, and just using kind words. By teaching these everyday manners, parents are directly connecting their children to the Prophet's example in real-life, totally practical situations.
But here's the thing, manners have to be backed by something much deeper, and that's taqwa, or God consciousness. The sources highlight that teaching a profound love for Allah, one that completely surpasses worldly interests, is exactly what builds a lifelong source of internal discipline. It fosters genuine personal accountability. Basically, it means a child makes the right choices even when absolutely no parents, teachers, or peers are watching. Okay, on to Section 4. 10 fun home activities. Let's really raise the energy here, because we are moving straight out of educational theory and into rapid-fire, highly actionable parenting strategies pulled directly from the Iqra curriculum. And this brilliantly illustrates how these 10 activities logically group into different aspects of a child's development. You've got charity and kindness, learning and reflection, and action and play. This completely bridges the gap between that high-level Tarbiyah theory and the actual day-to-day practice happening in your home. Let's look at the first 5, really quick. You've got the family charity box to teach generosity and bedtime Sirah stories to model truthfulness. But I absolutely love the kitchen of kindness. This is where you involve your kids in everyday cooking, but with the specific, mindful intention of serving a neighbor. It's such a fantastic way to link a totally mundane daily chore to incredibly deep spiritual values.
Rounding out the list, we have family skits, an Islamic art workshop, and family Quran time. But definitely pay attention to the anger control game. When a child gets upset, you literally turn it into a game where whoever manages to stay calm earns a star on a chart. It's a surprising, super fun way to teach the Prophet's teachings on emotional regulation and self-control right in the heat of the moment. Finally, Section 5, Building Digital Resilience. We really need to bring our focus back to the modern context here and figure out how to synthesize all these great activities with the unavoidable realities of the digital age.
So how in the world do we handle screens? Well, the sources contrast 2 main approaches. On one hand, you have total tech rejection. But the texts quickly point out that simply trying to block out the entire world by hiding from technology is just impractical. In fact, it's compared to trying to stop a flood with a paper wall. Good luck with that. Instead, the recommended approach is balanced engagement. This means actively promoting digital literacy, setting up ethical supervision, and guiding your children's tech use rather than just putting a blanket ban on the whole shebang.
Let's move to and see how this builds into a collaborative Ummah approach. Because guys, protecting identity isn't just a heavy burden sitting solely on the parent's shoulders. It can't be. The sources argue it requires a massive, multi-layered community effort. Parents establish the rules at home, schools step up to provide religious education and literacy, and the wider community works to actually develop positive, high-quality Islamic digital alternatives and platforms.
So I really want to ask you directly, based on everything we've looked at today, is your home a training ground or is it just a shelter? It's a huge question. The sources challenge us to view the home as the ultimate informal school for character building. It really shouldn't just be a place to hide from the world, but a dynamic place to actively prepare for it.
Which brings us to our final thought for today. What single step will you take in your home today? Whether it's starting a gratitude wall, sitting down for a real conversation about balanced digital engagement, or just focusing in on that Tarbiyah mindset of experiential learning, the tools are right there in your hands. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope you walk away feeling motivated and ready to take action.